Hello and welcome back to another episode of the AP Podcast. I'm your host, Archer Heron. This is episode 15. It is divisional round of the playoffs, and I've been gone for about a month. I'm really sorry for missing the last part of the season. I missed wild card weekend. It was Christmas break. I had exams, break, and then the start of school, and I just couldn't really deal with AP sports at that time. But I'm back, and hopefully I can continue to talk about the NFL and its closing weeks before we move on to NBA basketball and the offseason for the NFL. But let's go ahead and get right into it. First thing I want to talk about is the divisional round matchups. Honestly, I'm really happy with some of the teams that got in, because I think that these teams that are in the divisional right here are some of the most hard-fought teams that really played their best football when it mattered. First matchup I really want to talk about is the Titans versus Ravens. I think everybody and their grandma was excited when the Titans beat the Patriots. Who doesn't like seeing them go down like that? Mike Vrabel, the guy who got kicked out of, he got traded from the Patriots to Kansas City, pretty just nonchalant, even though, Vrabel had been there for 10, 13 years of his life, kind of started a family, and he had to get out of Dodge like that. They just traded him away in the offseason, and that's sad. I don't think Vrabel holds anything in his heart towards the organization up there in New England, but I definitely think that game meant a lot more to him than we realize. But they beat the Patriots for 21-13, and it was 14-13 most of the game. Tom Brady threw a deflected interception that went right into the hands of Logan Ryan for the touchdown. So the score is a little misleading, but really hard-fought game. And let me just say, Derrick Henry, what a beast of a man. I mean, it's honestly hard to wrap my head around this stat. Derrick Henry had almost 75% of his entire team's total yards on offense and defense. That is incredible. Incredible, the fact that they won too. Derrick Henry had almost as many yards as Tom Brady on less attempts, and he's a running back, not a quarterback. He doesn't get the luxury of throwing the ball 25 yards downfield to Julian Edelman. He was just running straight into the backs of these Patriots D linemen. He was making them miss. Some of the film you watch on Derrick Henry, it almost seems like there's no chance Derrick can get anything. He's going to get stopped at the one, and he powers forward for 5 or 6 yards, just like that. And something like that might seem minimal, but really, when you're playing a game and your running back really 90% of the time gets 5 to 6 yards, that's incredible. That is phenomenal. And I'm glad to see him finally getting some of the recognition he deserves. The Ravens versus the Titans up this week. As we know, the Baltimore Ravens have been dominating this season. They've been top of the power rankings since week 10. Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate, probably going to win it too, which is crazy to think about. 1,000 yards rushing, 3,000 yards passing, 36 total touchdowns. I mean, he really did have a hell of a season. And I didn't see it happen. I didn't see it coming, I have to say. I still don't think his arm talent is as elite as some others in the league, but it's undeniable he was meant to play the quarterback position. And John Harbaugh as well has really let Lamar come into his own and showcase his talents to the world, really. I mean, John Harbaugh has made it to where this offense runs through Lamar. Lamar is the offense. And it's really cool that something like that's happening. The Ravens O-line has been stellar, probably top 3 the entire year, maybe behind the Saints in the regular season on their O-line, maybe number 2, but still incredible. All right. My prediction for this game is 17-12 Baltimore Ravens beat the Titans. And I think that it's hard to say in this game who will oh, they're going to win it. They're going to win it because this is going to be a run. This is this is a bit of a hot take, but to be honest, I can legitimately see this as being possibly one of the shortest games, if not the shortest game in NFL history. Lamar Jackson runs it. Mark Ingram runs it. The Ravens run it. The Titans, or should I say the Derrick Henrys, all they do is run it. 33 carries for Derrick Henry against the New England Patriots. It's going to be great. I think this really is going to be a short game. And I think that it's going to be an interesting game because there is a bit of an underlying story going on. And that's the two defensive coordinators. Dean Pease, the defensive coordinator for the Titans, used to be the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Don Martindale was the linebackers coach for the Ravens at the time Dean Pease was their defensive coordinator. Don Martindale is now the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. This is a protege story. Dean Pease helps teach the linebackers coach. Don Martindale used to be the linebackers coach for the Ravens. He helps him teach what it means to run a defense. And then Martindale came in, got promoted up to defensive coordinator, but doing a great job. I mean, we saw him develop a lot of great linebackers in Baltimore, and he's continued to help with the linebackers, and he's also improved the scheme for the Ravens in general. It's really cool to see. But the Titans defensive coordinator, Dean Pease, worked with Martindale, which means they know each other's style. They know their tells, maybe these little quirks that possibly Dean Pease taught Martindale. They know each other, and that's a cool thing to have behind this game, is the fact that there is some sort of a connection that might lead to an advantage one way or the other for one of the teams. That's cool. I like stories like that. It kind of gives it a little bit more of an edge to the game and what it means for the players and the coaches. I think that'll be something really fun to watch. I wanted to talk about what I think that the Titans need to do on defense to stop this Baltimore Ravens offense. Because really, the O-line and Lamar Jackson, almost unstoppable. Really incredible this season. First thing I think the Titans need is some of their players that haven't really played incredibly this season, I think they need to step up big time. Most notably, I think Harold Landry. He needs to really step up his game on the pass rush. Because although there won't be a lot of passing being done in this, I think that there obviously will be some passing. And I think that if Harold Landry can really show off this skill, this young talent, I think he can get through that O-line and really cause some pressure for Lamar and maybe help disrupt the O-line a little bit more to help some of his buddies get off and get to Lamar. But that's one player that needs to step up for the Titans. Another player is Adoree Jackson. He has come off of an injury. This is his first game back. He's just expected to play. And he will most likely be matched up with Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. And I think that's because usually I would expect it to be Logan Ryan gets matched up with the number one receiver. But because Hollywood Brown is a speed guy, and Adoree is a speed guy, it's gonna be them two, I think. But Adoree is going to have to not only keep up with Marquise, but it's also going to have to read Marquise and not get lost. If Adoree gets lost with Marquise Brown running his routes, he's a rookie, and I mean, I haven't really heard too much about Marquise Brown since the first couple weeks of the season, but I know he's talented. And I know Adoree has his shortcomings at cornerback. He's a very athletically gifted person. He has great speed, he's strong, and he has I just think that his IQ for football and the position he plays are a little lacking. And I think that there's some things he can do better when it comes to reading the quarterback's eyes and figuring out what he needs to do with the receiver. There's a lot of instances you can see Adoree Jackson failing to put his hands up, or failing to look at the ball, or failing to get in front of him. There's a lot of things that happen. And if he can just maybe for one game just step up and not make any silly mistakes, that might be a lifesaver for the Tennessee Titans. That is the keys I think that the Titans need on defense. And to be honest, Titans, I think most, if not all, the people know that they're just going to run with Derrick Henry. But I do think that Ryan Tannehill, if given the opportunity, will be able to show off his talents as an NFL quarterback. I think that he's going to be able to have more than 72 passing yards. I think he's going to be able to have maybe 200, 250 if he can, if the Titans O-line can give him some time to throw. I mean, they've definitely stepped it up big time, especially blocking for Derrick Henry. But this season, in whole, they have not done the best job giving their quarterback lots of time. Taylor Lewan had a lot of penalty issues at the beginning of the season. I do think that he has stepped it up. Ben Jones has been really, really good as well. Jack Conklin has not. Jack Conklin had a great rookie year 2 years ago. I really haven't seen anything special from him since that rookie run. But we'll just have to wait and see Ryan Tannehill back in the pocket, throwing deep, maybe hitting A.J. Brown. It'll be weird, but all I know is Marcus Peters and Earl Thomas are both very talented, and I think that that's going to be hard to get past. But Ryan has some really good accuracy, some underrated accuracy if you ask me. And that's really cool to see. Some keys, I think, for the Ravens is really just do what they've been doing. Lamar, if you can get him in a position where he can make any sort of athletic play, you can win this game easily. That is a given. Lamar is one of, if not the most talented, athletically, IQ, and I wouldn't say the most talented, but he's up there with some of the most talented and athletic guys in the NFL. Really, really fun guy to watch, if you ask me. If Ravens can keep up what they're doing, and if the Titans fail to step up, then the Ravens are going to run away with this. But it'll be close, for sure. It'll be close. But I think that the Ravens are going to win this game, but do not count the Tennessee Titans out. I feel like a lot of people counted them out against the Patriots. We all saw what happened there. And I think that if you give the Titans any room, they can still beat you. So don't expect any sort of blowout by the Ravens here. That is my prediction for that game. Let's move on. Next game, Chiefs versus Texans. The Kansas City Chiefs have really looked like one of the best teams in the NFL. They look like a Super Bowl team. Their offense is good. Their defense is good. Their special teams is good. Everything is good. Patrick Mahomes is doing all sorts of Patrick Mahomes things. Is Tyreek Hill fast as ever? I don't think he's ever going to slow down. Maybe when he hits 50. They also have Damian Williams, who really, he had a pretty monster game, and I think that his morale was lifted. And he's been running really well. And that O-line for the Chiefs, although not one of the best, still gets the job done when it matters. And I think that against this Texans defense, I think they can do that. Because, don't get me wrong, the Texans have some talented guys, especially J.J. Watt. But Patrick Mahomes, with his ability to sense the pressure, his ability to escape and throw on the run, I think that's going to be tough for the Texans defense to crack and really get down on. Next up on that one is the Texans. On their offensive side, let me just say, the Texans-Bills game, great watch. Really a fun game to watch. 16-0 run to come back and beat the Bills in overtime. Really awesome. But honestly, this Deshaun Watson is on another level of just clutch. I mean, he has the clutch gene. It's almost as if he gets better in the situations where he needs to step up, where he feels the pressure. He turns into a different player. And it's not like he's bad in the first, second, or third quarter. But when it comes down to that defining moment, he really gets the job done. And he willed his team to a victory against the Bills. But I don't think that's going to be just as easy to do against this Texans defense. I mean, this Chiefs defense. Because this Chiefs defense has stepped up tremendously. Tyrann Mathieu, a guy they got from the Texans actually last year, is playing so well. In the past couple of weeks, Tyrann Mathieu has been lighting the world on fire. He's been great. I mean, his pass coverage, his ability to read the quarterback and to make really athletic plays on the ball, I mean, it's won him some games, to be honest. It really has. And that's really cool because I know Tyrann Mathieu is a really good guy. He has problems at LSU, but I know that I think he has solved those problems, and I think he's well on his way to a great career. And he really has had a great career. He's not very new. I mean, he's been in the league for a while. But I just think that he's playing some of his best football right now. And that's a cool storyline as well. All right. The running backs for the Texans, Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. Duke Johnson, one of the better receiving backs. Carlos Hyde has actually played really well for the Texans. He got his first 1,000-yard rushing season in his career. And he's stepped up to the plate, especially, I mean, I really didn't expect much from Carlos Hyde. To be honest, I just saw it as another running back pickup that was not going to go anywhere. And they've utilized him, and he's really been a talented back for the Texans. I think the keys for this Texans team is really just to keep DeAndre Hopkins involved. Because, I mean, sometimes you miss DeAndre Hopkins. You can't find him on the TV screen because he's not getting thrown the ball very often in the first and second quarter. And third and fourth, that's when he gets most of his yards. But it's hard to get the ball to DeAndre when it's getting double covered every play. And the Texans, without Will Fuller, their deep threat guy, really have nobody else besides maybe Kenny Stills that has been able to step up to the plate and become that solid number 2 receiver they're looking for. That's really all I have to say about that game, and I'm going to move on to the Packers versus Seahawks. This game, I think, will be a very fun watch. The weather in Lambeau is supposed to be frigid. It's supposed to be freezing, hard to play in, windy, all the stuff that Green Bay and Seahawks both know how to play in. Up in Seattle, it gets cold, it gets rainy all the time. And in Lambeau, I feel like it's always cold and rainy. At least that's what it seems like up there in Green Bay. But that's going to be a weird one because Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers really. I saw a cool blurb on Instagram earlier today talking about who would a Super Bowl win for which one of these quarterbacks would a Super Bowl win help their legacy the most. And to be completely honest, I think that Russell Wilson, if he gets another Super Bowl win, if he retired tomorrow, if he retired the day after the Super Bowl, he could be a Hall of Famer. I mean, Russell Wilson is an incredible player. He stayed in the MVP race all year and is still possible, although I do think Lamar will take it in the end. He'll get some votes for MVP. He played really, really well. And I like Russ. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, this season, from what I only watched 2 or 3 games, if I'm being completely real. I watched him against the Lions in week 17, week 17. And he played awful. I'm sorry, he played awful. I saw so many overthrown balls. They really got saved by their defense in that game. But the amount of balls that were overthrown by Aaron Rodgers is sad. I have not seen a man look that out of touch with his receivers in a long time. The only receiver I think I saw him complete a pass to was Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard. Like, come on. They really have no weapons over there. Jimmy Graham is way out of his prime. Geronimo Allison has been borderline, like, unplayable. Same with Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He's supposed to be their deep ball threat. He hasn't caught a pass since week 7. It's sad. But Aaron Rodgers, I mean, right now, if he got a Super Bowl win, I'm sure that would help his career. But I don't think that Aaron Rodgers right now is a very elite quarterback. I think he's a little below average if you're talking about just who I would pick out of a pantheon of the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think I would pick Aaron Rodgers over 15 other guys. I'm not going to name all 15. That would just take too long. But Aaron Rodgers isn't in that upper caliber of players for me anymore. I'm sure he has the clutch gene, and I'm sure he has the ability to make a big play when it matters. But so do a lot of other quarterbacks. And I just have not been impressed with this play this season. I think Aaron Jones in this game, the running back for the Packers, could have a monster game. This Seahawks run defense has not been very good. And they also haven't been very good at getting to the quarterback. They have a league low in 27 sacks this season. And I really think that that's going to benefit the Seahawks. Another thing that will benefit the Seahawks, I think, is the deep ball. Because the Packers can't do anything with the deep ball. They have nobody that can cover it. Nobody. And the Seahawks have 2 guys that can catch the deep balls. They have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, who can both go after those deep balls. They're fast. DK Metcalf has been a beast. He's big, he's fast, he's strong. He's everything you want in a receiver and more. And Tyler Lockett just has an ability to catch the ball and just find a way to get his feet down that's almost unparalleled. I put him up there next to Amari Cooper when it comes to a toe tap or a nice catch on the sideline. Like, he finds a way to get that ball in bounds, and it's fun. They are a really, really cool team. I like the Seahawks, and I think that they win this game. Moving on to the Vikings versus 49ers. I'm going to try and keep this one a little short. But the Vikings versus the 49ers. I don't know, really, this is kind of a weird game. I wasn't expecting the Vikings to get this point. Their defense played really, really well. Really, really well against the Saints. They made Drew Brees look like an amateur. He looked bad. And I mean, I'm sure that has some to do with just Drew's play in general. But the Vikings defense definitely stepped up. And that is really, really surprising. Because a lot of people counted this Vikings team out week 4 when they had all those things going on with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins was just awful. They picked it up, and I'm surprised they're at this point. And honestly, kind of cool to see a team turn around like that in the middle of a season and find a way to win. The 49ers played incredible all season. Defense, great. Jimmy G's looked really, really good. And Kyle Shanahan has done such a good job coaching this 49ers team, especially these running backs. Like, the rotations they've been in and the fact that they've still been able to get all like 3 touchdowns, 200 yards, like Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson, Matt Breida, Tevin Coleman. They've all had great games this season, and it's thanks to Kyle Shanahan helping give them these great ways to shine. Raheem Mostert, in my opinion, is probably, if not their most talented back. He's fast, and he has a really good sense of football IQ, and he's a smart guy. And I think Raheem Mostert will, if anybody can get through this Vikings defense on the 49ers, I think it's Raheem Mostert, and I think he has a decent game. Even against this Vikings defense, I think he has a good game. I also think that Jimmy G I think that he might struggle under pressure. The first game he played this season against the Seahawks, on his final drive that ended up, I think they lost that game. They lost that game on a field goal, I remember. But he didn't look too good on his final drive. I don't think he could get them the touchdown. He made some bad decisions, some bad throws, and it kind of looked like he crumbled under pressure. But then at the end of the season, he looked like a seasoned veteran. I mean, Jimmy G has the potential to be an NFL great, and one of the NFL's best. And if he can get a win against this Vikings team, I think that helps his case, especially in the playoffs. Some people underestimate how hard it is to win a game in the playoffs, even if you're favored. Like, the playoffs, the amount of pressure that's on you as a player is unparalleled to a lot of other sports, to be honest. But we'll save that for another day. You know what? I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. That was my divisional round breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to go check us out. If you're listening to this on Spotify, go check us out on YouTube, vice versa. Check out our Instagram, AP Sports. I'm trying to upload as consistently and daily, trying to get stuff out there and really build up some content. But yeah, thank you for listening, and have a great day.